Hey guys, what's up? My name is Gabby. Welcome back to my channel, and today I wanted to film a video telling you about my 10 favorite best books that I've read so far this year. I'm filming this video on July 1st, so we're at like the exact halfway point of the year, and so far this year I have read 68 books, which is kind of crazy and a lot higher of a number than I'm usually at the midway point of the year, but I thought I would let you know about the 10 best books I have read so far out of the 68 books that I've read so far this year. These are in no particular order, but I'm going to be starting with The Nightingale by Kristin. I read this book in January. It was the first book that I gave 5 stars to this year. This one is a World War II historical fiction novel. It follows both of these sisters, Isabel and Vianne. Oh my gosh, I just loved this book so much, and this book made me so emotional. Like, I was crying so much at the end of this, and I just really loved Isabel's character so much. I feel like this book definitely lives up to the hype that a lot of people have created for it, so I loved it so much. It's one of my favorites of the year for sure. Another one of my favorites this year is The Silent Patient by Michaeldis. This one is an adult thriller, and this one follows this guy who's like a psychotherapist, and he's talking to this one patient who will no longer speak. Ever since she shot and killed her husband, she like shot him in the face 5 times, and it was just this random act of cruelty that they can't figure out why she killed him. She's never been violent before, and it was just this random thing, and now she's no longer speaking. And so we follow from this psychotherapist, Theo, as he tries to figure out what's going on with her and why she's no longer speaking. It very much reminds me of the TV show The Sinner with Jessica Biel, like, because it's kind of a similar situation where a woman randomly acts out violently and they're trying to figure out why. So good. Like, this plot twist is probably the best plot twist that I've read in a book this year. Like, oh my god, I loved it so much. It was so shocking and so amazing. One of my favorite romance novels of this year has been The Unhoneymooners by Christina. This is probably my favorite male-female romance that I've read so far this year, and it's a new all-time favorite of mine. It's my new favorite from Christina, which is huge because they're one of my favorite authors. And this book follows this girl named Olive. Her twin sister Amy is getting married to this guy named Dane, and Dane has this brother Ethan who Olive can't stand. During Amy and Dane's wedding, everyone gets food poisoning at the wedding, and so they are going to either have to cancel their honeymoon or offer it to their siblings to take instead. And on this honeymoon, they're gonna have to pretend like they're married because they won this honeymoon in a giveaway, and so they have to pretend like they're their siblings on this trip. So we get this amazing hate to love happening, we get this amazing fake marriage trope, and it takes place in Hawaii, and it's just so atmospheric and so funny. Like, this book is so funny. I was cracking up the whole time I was reading this. It's just so good. It's one of the best rom-coms out there right now. I think it's just great. I think it would only make sense next to do the other romance novels that are on this list. The first one is Red, White, and Royal Blue by McQuinston. This is a male-male romance that follows the son of the first female president of the United States and his romance with a prince of England. I'm sure you've probably heard about this book by now because it's literally everywhere online. Like, everyone loves the holy shit out of it, and I am no exception to that. I absolutely love the holy shit out of this book, and I mainly love it because of what it says about future America, you know, and how America could be, because this book definitely takes place in an alternate version of our reality where a woman was elected after Obama. This book is just so freaking beautiful, and the ending made me cry like a little bitch, mainly because of the way America could be. Like, it just really got to me in that sense, you know, and the romance is freaking adorable. 10 out of 10. Ship it so hard. So cute. Alright, and next up we have another one of my favorite male-male romances of the year, and that is Top Secret by Sarina, Bowen, and Elle. This is probably my most recent read out of all of these, but I know this one is going to be in my favorites of the year because, oh my god, it's just so good. It follows these 2 guys who are living in the same frat house, and they start anonymously talking to each other online without knowing that they're who they are talking to, and both of these guys happen to be running to be president of their frat house. They don't realize that it's each other that they're talking to online until they've already caught feels and like each other, and so then we get this amazing, kind of forbidden, kind of bantery relationship happening between them, and oh my god, Luke is one of my new favorite characters of all time. He's just so soft and so precious, and this book is just so great, honestly. Like, I actually found the frat house part of this book to be really entertaining because they're both trying to like one-up each other all the time, which was really fun. And it just gave me like Simon and Baz vibes because of their whole like being roommates, and like there's tension there, and like it's just so good. It's so cute. Another one of my favorites this year is A House at the Bottom of the Lake by Josh Malerman. This is a very short story. I think it's considered a novella. This book is so hard to explain what it's about, and it's very weird, but if you like books that kind of have this weird creepy vibe and an ambiguous ending that kind of makes you question everything that you just read, and books that make you theorize about everything that you just read, then I think you would really enjoy this. It mainly follows these two teenagers who go out on this lake for their first date, and then while they're out on the lake, they discover this house that's under the lake, like sitting on the bottom of the lake, and they don't know how it's possible, and the book is kind of about them exploring the house. That's all I can say about it. It's very weird, but I love it so much. I just loved it so much. Like, the feeling of claustrophobicness while I read this was so real. Right, the next one, that's one of my favorites, is Birthday by Meredith Russo. Holy crap, you guys, this book like ripped a freaking hole into my heart. It's so sad, but it's so good. It follows these two characters. One of them is a trans character and the other one is this guy. They are best friends for their whole entire life, and then this book follows both of them on their birthday every year. They share a birthday, and so we get to see their birthdays from their 13th birthday through their 18th birthday, and we only see them on their birthday every year. So it's kind of like 6 short little stories of like their birthday every year. One of the most gorgeous stories I've ever read. Like, I was crying so much while I was reading this, and it's so beautiful. And I love this style of writing, how like we only get to see characters on a certain day every year. Like, it's just so fascinating. It was so sad and so heartbreaking and so important. The next one I have is All We Ever Wanted by Emily Giffin. This one is a contemporary fiction novel that follows these two families. One of the families is very rich and very wealthy, and the other family is like middle class. The girl from the middle class family gets this very inappropriate photo taken of her from a boy in the rich family. He captions it with a very racist caption, and then we get the story that follows from the perspective of the boy's mom and then the girl's dad and the girl that got the photo taken of herself. So we get a lot of very interesting perspectives in this book, and this book really makes you question like, how far would you go to protect your child even when they're in the wrong, or like what would you do as a parent? Like, how do you move past your child doing something very horrific and awful? And it's just very thought-provoking and very sad. Like, this book is very heavy and very sad, but God, it is so freaking gorgeous. Like, I just love this book so much. And this book also has a lot to say about rich people and entitlement, and how rich people can like literally get away with whatever they want, and it's disgusting. Alright, the next one on this list is Ask Again Yes by Beth Keane. This one is also a very recent read of mine that I just absolutely loved. And this one is kind of like a literary fiction feel contemporary story that follows these two families. There's this tragedy that occurs between these two families, and then we get to see how this tragedy affects the rest of their lives for each member of the families. And this book deals a lot with mental illness, and I feel like in this book it's just handled so sensitively, and I feel like this author really fleshes out every single character in the story, and it's just so gorgeously written, and I just felt so much for these characters in this book. Alright, and the last book that I have on this list is The Immortalists by Chloe Benjamin. This one is a historical fiction kind of novel that follows these 4 siblings who, when they're little kids, they go to New York one day and they go to this psychic. She tells them the exact date that each of the siblings is going to die. And then we follow from the point of view of each of the siblings in 4 different sections of this book, and we get to see them live their life differently, knowing the fact that they know when they're going to die. It's just so fascinating. Like, this book, oh my god, I really liked 2 of the siblings a lot, and then the other 2 siblings I thought were like okay characters, but besides the characters, I just think that this book was such a fascinating topic to read about, and thinking about like how, like, yeah, if you knew the day you were going to die, like, would that affect the way that you live your life? This book is also very gorgeously written, and I just really loved it so much. So those are all the 10 books that are like my actual favorite books that I've read so far this year. I also wanted to give honorable mentions to Recursion by Blake Crouch and Miss Everything by Jennifer Weiner, because even though these books were 4 out of 5 stars for me, they were like really high 4 out of 5 stars for me. I'm still thinking about these books all the time. They didn't quite get up there to a 5-star read, but they're still very special and still on my mind and still probably going to be on my favorites of the year list. This book is just like one of the most epic things I've ever read about, and some of the quotes in this book about memories and how our memories make us who we are is some of the best shit that I've read this year, and it's just so good. And then Miss Everything is just this goddamn beautiful story about these 2 sisters, and it's just one of the most feminist things I've ever read, and it's heartbreaking and beautiful, and I really just love it so much. That is all for this video. Those are all of the books that are my favorites of the year so far. Let me know what some of your favorite books are that you've read this year so far. Let me know what your thoughts are on any of these books that I've mentioned. Are these also some of your favorite books? That is all for today, so thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you guys soon with a new video.